Hey guys, Huzzy bringing you another video. Now, welcome to a POV commentary. And if you've been keeping up a little bit with the content at the moment, and well, I don't know when this is coming out. This might be today's video, it might be tomorrow's. I'm quite ill at the moment. I don't want to say it in the first minute or so of the video because there's been a conspiracy on YouTube. If you say the word, your video won't do as well. So I have something beginning with C at the moment. You can probably a contagious thing beginning with C. There you go. But yeah, we are doing POV commentaries. I played these games a few days ago, and I was always planning on doing these as POV commentaries. I was going to record it over the weekend, but I was completely out of it over this last weekend. So what I'm going to try and do, I've got 4 in total POV commentaries to do. This is the first one. I'm going to try and record one now and be educational and try to be as a good commentary for you all. And then I'm going to rest my voice for an hour, and then I'm going to try and record the second one today. I don't want to push it too much. I actually streamed earlier for 2 hours, and that was really hard on my voice. But anyway, we are playing Syndra. Syndra is a champion that it kind of is always around. I do think Syndra is actually pretty good. You will see me in all of these POV commentaries. I do type in the chat, not to talk to teammates, to basically talk to you guys of like, you know, whether it be people in Twitch chat, I might say hello to them like I just did there to Shadow. Or if I've got thoughts in the moment, I will occasionally type them in the chat just to, you know, kind of convey my thoughts of what's going on in the game. So this game was quite a funny one from memory. If memory serves correct, I think it was a full lethality Caitlyn. It seems pretty common at the moment. It does a ton of damage. The only thing I don't like about it, you know, kinda, and yes, I am, by the way, roaming at level 1 down because I just thought this was happening. Nautilus unfortunately does die to first blood. Brom realizes he's dead. He's already used a summoner, so I'm like, well, I'm gonna go for this, I guess. And I do manage to kill the Brom, but yes, I am gonna be officially late to lane, but I do a little bit more damage on the Caitlyn, which is never a bad thing. And hopefully, there you go, she goes down and we do get the assist. So I've got teleport. That's kind of why I thought I could commit to that, because, you know, I can TB back to mid. You get XP from killing champions or assists. Sure, I might be a little bit behind, but in the grand scheme of things, I've gained a lot of gold there, more so than I would have been being in the first minion wave, you know. And the only thing I'm going to be careful is Orianna's XP advantage. So yeah, a kill and assist is not, I don't think, the same as 4 minions at level 1. And I think I missed about 4 minions, maybe 5 minions worth of XP. And Orianna, you know, is she's a typical mage, but she's actually pretty good at poking certain champions. She has to respect some types of champions. Like an Orianna has to be very careful of, like, say, like a Zed or a Kiana, where they can just all in and she's dead. But a Syndra or another mage, Orianna can very easily just kind of poke, harass, Q, auto attack. So I'm going to go for a long-term stun. Orianna at this stage is 2 levels ahead of me. Talia, as the jungler, is already coming mid lane to save the day, but we have our jungler nearby. So flash by Belveth quite early. Flash as well there from the Talia to get away, but the kill has happened. Brom, we know, by the way, doesn't have flash, so that's where I'm like, you know, who do you go for? I'm going for Brom. Yes, he's tankier, harder to kill, but he doesn't have flash, but now Orianna's used hers. So yeah, an absolute fiesta is happening. You know, we changed our target to Orianna because being a carry, a mid lane carry, she instantly becomes the bigger target to go for over a support. And lo and behold, my bot lane is now mid. So in the first 3 minutes of the game, I've been bot lane, you know, early. My bot lane is mid. Crazy fiesta, high kill game, you know, 6 kills in 3.5 minutes is very high. You know, respawns have happened. And look what's happening now. More fighting. Caitlyn has finally made her way over to a fight. Talia's actually decided to go for me, but then changes her mind and then kills Samira. So literally people are spawning, and instead of like going and, right, I'm going to go back and farm, people are instantly, and that was a bad death from me, by the way. People are like, I'm going back to the fight. So yeah, that was a bad death. I should have flashed. If I'm completely honest, I thought I was fine. You know, it's that simple. I thought I had the range. I thought I'd be fine. I don't think I was going to die. And lo and behold, I die. Obviously, I think what did aid it to is she has Dark Harvest, and I think during her damage spike of hitting me, that because obviously Dark Harvest only procs when you're low health, I think I probably went into the health bracket that procced Dark Harvest damage. So that probably is also what kind of killed me. But I should have flashed. You know, better not to die. So now the kills are even, 5-5. Unbelievable. Again, I've got hardly any farm because it's just been fighting constantly. I'm literally half farm Orianna right now. So you'll probably see me not just purely use spells and just push the wave. I have to be a little bit smart here. I need to just not push it in because I need to try and catch up with farm. And I'm not going to catch up if I allow her free lane. And what would free lane be? Well, having it near her territory constantly, under her tower, and it's all, you know, free. I'm going to try and keep it in the mid of it. And if anything, I want her to push in. But, you know, the moment that she comes back to lane, I know she's going to look for a harass. So I've got to use some spells just to maintain some farm. Because if I don't, if I just go for auto attacks, you're basically playing into an Orianna's hands. Orianna has stronger auto attacks than a Syndra. Because Orianna has an auto attack passive. So that's the thing. So a Heimer's being ganked in top lane. Yes, it is a Heimer top. He has ended up dead, unfortunately. You know, Heimer top, I don't think he's the best in current meta. You know, I've spoken about it a decent amount of times. If you're out of, you know, let's say top lane norms at the moment is Bruiser, Split Push, Hull Breaker, you're kind of screwing your team over if you're not kind of playing that. And I would say the only good thing that the Heimer has at this game, it's a Darius. And some people are like, huh? Yeah, Darius is actually, even though he fits in some of those generic, like, Bruiser top lane, he's actually not a Hull Breaker champion. He doesn't synergize with it very well. He also doesn't really want to split push. He's a great, basically, team fighter that goes through a team fight with his giant axe. So Heimer, in a way, is lucky it's actually not a Hull Breaker top laner at the moment. Because the moment, and that's the problem with a lot of, like, let's say, not pure meta top laners, they might do okay in the early game, but the moment second or third item, the Hull Breaker, comes out for most top laners, they instantly start to struggle. The wave clear becomes harder because obviously the wave gets stronger with Hull Breaker. The cannon minion does a lot more damage. The individual champion they're against is gaining so much more resistances from Hull Breaker by itself. It is a little bit silly. But, you know, you could argue, you know, I don't technically remember who picked first, Darius or Heimer, but he is lucky it's a Darius. Let's say not a Garen, because Garen scales a lot better with Hull Breaker than a Heimer does. So bot lane gank coming through again. So the Talia is really starting to kind of make ground. Ganks top lane kills, bot lane double kill. So unfortunately, there does seem to be a bit of a jungle discrepancy. You could argue, obviously, Belveth is a much more farm-intensive jungler. Unfortunately for me, I go for the kill. Two things happen there. I should have flashed her actual ultimate. I actually tanked it, which I shouldn't have. But I tanked it because I really wanted to try and get my ultimate off. And the only way of doing that was tanking the ult to then get it off. The problem, and you can see me ping it there, and that's just to let people know, she has Resolve. So this Orianna is actually a lot tankier than a standard Orianna is. Resolve, obviously, you know, I don't have Resolve. I've gone Inspiration Tree for first strike and Sorcery Tree second. She's gone Sorcery Tree into Resolve Tree, so she's actually quite beefy. And that's the problem, is I just don't have, in the early game, most mages don't have a lot of damage to get through Resolve Tree. And unfortunately, that's just what happened there. So again, should realize that, if I'm completely honest, the moment that happened, I looked, and that's why I was like, I pinged the Resolve. I didn't realize she had Resolve. And some people I've always, you know, kind of said, and I'm no better than just a normal human. You should, and again, it's the word, you should, everyone should really pay attention to what you're against. I've been in games, so I'm 15 minutes in, and I'm surprised what the enemy support was. I'm like, oh wait, they had that as support? Okay. I think it is pretty normal. But yeah, you should generally know what champions you're against, you know, no matter what role. But also, I should have known she had Resolve second. I didn't. You know, before that moment, I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't look. And getting caught out guard of, wow, she's tankier than I expected because I didn't know she had Resolve. So obviously, still looking for a bit of harass. Even though you can see that damage is pathetic, still looking for those combo abilities on Syndra. Why? The way of Syndra passive, obviously, if you look above my spell, above the QWER. Again, this Talia was really annoying, by the way. Every time that there was generally a gank or another player to help me in mid, Talia would instantly show up. But anyway, looking above her abilities over there in the middle, you can see it says 40. So that 40 is the more modern version of Syndra. It's, you know, I say modern, it has been around now for quite a few months, but basically Syndra collects stacks, and she gets stacks from different ways. She gets stacks from, I believe, leveling up, I think, is one of them. Killing cannon minions is another, so that's the difficult one for me. And then the third one is landing 2 abilities consecutively within a few seconds of each other. See that? It's gone up to 41. So that is why I'm constantly looking just to land those like QE or QW on the Ori. Even if it does little damage, it's about your scaling. So again, what does Orianna get? She gets different power-ups of her kit, depending how many stacks she has. Think of Victor as well, very similar. Obviously, that's where they kind of borrowed inspiration from, I believe, when they did this little mini rework for Syndra. But yeah, there's simple things of like her Q. I think her Q1 is she can hold 2 Qs. You can see in the bottom right of the Q ability, there's a number 2. That means she can hold 2 Qs. The actual ability has a longer cooldown than an average spammable spell, but you have 2 of them on charge constantly. The W eventually gets true damage, a percentage which I think is roughly 15% is true damage instead of just spell damage, so that's really good because they can't build resistances to that. The E, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a larger scatter, if it's something like that. Obviously I'm looking for the Talia. Belveth comes in. I get my ultimate off early to hope to help. Should be a kill though, because Talia has already used flash, and it is, so that's very nice. I missed the cannon though, which is annoying. And then the ultimate one is your ultimate becomes an execute. I think it's 5 or 10% health execute, so it's actually one of the most powerful executes in the game. And then at 120 stacks, so 100 is the ultimate, 120 is the final upgrade, and that is where Syndra herself gets a version of Death Cap, but within her own kit. She gets a 15% ability power increase. And yes, meanwhile, hello Darius, I didn't even know he was there. He must have been on the minimap, but I just must have missed it. Orianna should die though. I don't even get an assist on that, unfortunately. And Brom's mid, Talia's mid, so yeah, everybody's back mid lane. And you see, why am I spam clicking that? Kill the Caitlyn. Like, you're a Nautilus Samira, you got easy dive, just, you know, like that. You just press R, easy kill. So Samira, of that, by the way, kill is 2 levels down on the Caitlyn. It's been not going well, but that's, I'm going to be honest, I'm happy that my team did that. I don't know they would have gone for that dive unless I spam pinged them. And that's where pings are important. I decided to TP over and help out, so Samira gets another kill. Brom ultimate is going to catch out the Nautilus, and Orianna also makes her way bot lane and gets another kill. So really unfortunate. From memory here, I think they chased me like an absolute mad. Brom flash, use the W to slow. Orianna ultimate comes through, flash that one. Belveth is making her way, but I can't, you know, stop. I have to keep moving, otherwise I'm just going to get caught. But I'm just hoping that Belveth can get here maybe for the Brom. I'm just keeping relevant, looking for the big stun, get the double stun into the Belveth knockup. Belveth, you can see there, is actually leaving me the kill, so that's actually quite nice. Going to try our best to get the Orianna. Boom, double kill for me. So that's really good. So that was good patience from me of like walking away, but keeping them kind of interested, constantly landing abilities. If I just right-clicked to the tower and I was gone, I think they would have survived because they would have just given up and gone, yeah. But the fact that I was spacing of like not completely just running away, landing a couple of abilities, they kept their interest. And that's what gave time for Belveth to get there. Jaime does get a solo kill. You can see Talia, again, not really sure, a very aggressive player. But again, Talia is that type of champion, it is worth knowing. But Belveth in the area. Boom, another assist for me. Unfortunately, she does go down, but it's still good. You know, a kill and assist most of the time is worth more than just a kill. Obviously, there are exceptions to that with shutdowns and also effectiveness. You know, what does that mean? If someone on your team is 10 kills, 0 deaths, and you have your jungler with you, you should win most fights, right? A very fed person with, let's say, an average strength jungler, and you're against someone that's 0 and 6, you'd think most of the time, you know, well, that would not be a worth trade, is what I'm trying to say. So if someone's really behind, but they managed to kill you, the fed person, but you got them, there's an imbalance there. So you have to be a little bit careful about when you're trading. Most of the time, a 2-for-1 with an assist is worth it, but it's not always worth it. Orianna obviously doing a good job auto-attacking. One of her overstrengths of other mages, you could say. You are starting to see, because again, we are 59 stacks. I'm 1 stack away from another upgrade. which will be the W, which I believe is the true damage. So you start, by the way, your first upgrade is at 40 stacks, then 60, then 80, then 100, then 120. So now we're at 64, so my W now has partial true damage on it, which, by the way, excuse me, instantly gives you a big increase of damage. Again, do not underestimate true damage. True damage is, let's just say, it's not balanced. You know, it can never truly be balanced because it is, you can't build against it. So the Darius instantly ghosts. And I was thinking, by the way, Heimer, if you didn't see, he pinged me to come to top lane. I didn't want to really go top lane, and exactly what I kind of expected happened. I don't have flash up as Syndra. Maybe I should have really avoided him, but even if I really avoided him, I think I was going to get tower dove by him anyway. So yeah, that isn't exactly what I wanted. I want to be mid lane. Heimer also dies because he doesn't really want to be mid lane, realistically, against a high tempo enemy team. So yeah, that wasn't a good idea. So Heimer went there, you can understand. He went there to help with the dragon. That's fair enough, but overall, that was just a bad situation. I should have ignored the Heimer pings. The moment that you know deep down, I knew I didn't want to go there, I just shouldn't have. It's that simple. Like, you know, sometimes you do have to just stick up with what you think, and I really did not want to go over there. So the enemy team, you can see, hyper aggressive still. In our jungle, they have number advantage. I would say the enemy team worked very well together overall. They always just seem to have a bunch of them around at any given time, which was a bit annoying. But yeah, the game does, by the way, get better for us. So, you know, at the moment, I'm 347, 91 farm. I think as of this right now, Orianna is slightly ahead of me. I think she's actually 6 kills, 3 deaths. So I think I've got a lot more assists. Again, 7 assists is a lot of assists, but it is what it is. So you can see there, the W, not bad damage. From taking a bit of tower. I'm going to try my best to stop what's going on here. And obviously, they're going crazy aggressive. And I'm like, well, there's 1 kill. So again, sometimes your crazy aggression can backfire. And, you know, your cockiness can kind of turn into, well, death. I don't truly think, and I did flash for that. I shouldn't have. I knew the moment I flashed, it was a bad flash. I was never going to get the kill because he used this big shield. That is just obviously a crazy damage denier. But still, getting the Caitlyn is very good. Does show my damage is there. Maybe if I played that absolutely perfectly, it would be a 2v1, you know, double kill. Bel'Veth getting the Orianna. So nice shutdown for Bel'Veth there. And I'm going to continue to try and get a tower in bot lane, which is not bad. Bel'Veth again gets the Talia. So the one thing I would say about Talia, because some people, I do get, you know, questions weirdly about Talia a fair amount. Do I like Talia, etc., etc.? I like her in some respects. But is it weird that I actually don't like her as a jungler? And that is her main role? You know, and it's weird because I do like that there's more choice in the jungle. Like, having a pure mage jungler is cool. But I just think in the vast majority of matchups, unless you are an absolute god Talia, you just simply will get beat against your jungler opponent. You know, a Bel'Veth will kill a Talia, a Yi, a Kha'Zix, a Rengar, most of these things, a Jarvan, most of these things will just straight up beat a Talia. And I think most of Talia's strength is not in her her pure 1v1 matchup in jungle. It's her presence on the map, which is true. But you also can't always hide away when you're jungling and there's an enemy Bel'Veth running for you. There's not a lot sometimes you can do. And I just think that is her weakness. And again, she's so squishy. Again, we're not completely in one-shot meta anymore, but it's still quite a lot of damage meta, and she just gets blown up. You know, quite often than not, I'm sure you guys are the exact same. I just see Talia's just pop, they're dead. And again, look, if you look at even Caitlyn's and stuff, Caitlyn's are building full lethality. I've been one-shot by a Caitlyn on tankier things than Talia. So a big fight coming through. Braum does overextend himself for it. Does end up dead. We've got Talia off to the side. I might just look for a cheeky stun, but it doesn't happen. Orianna, again, look at that W damage, not too bad. Orianna was looking for a bit of damage return on me, and I was actually wrong. Okay, so it might be a future game that the Caitlyn. I just noticed by, you know, because obviously I'm not controlling, I can't press tab right now. Bel'Veth does make a mistake, unfortunately. Decide to get a bunch of stun damage, and we do kill the Darius overall. Samira's got time to go in, but she then just goes pop. But yeah, this is not fully lethality Caitlyn. I thought it was, but maybe that's a different game. I decided to keep going forward, and I don't think much of it comes. Oh no, I killed the Orianna, which is nice. And Caitlyn flashes forward herself, and I get her too. So it's actually worked out kind of okay. Bit messy, but it's worked out in the end. Talia ultimate, obviously that freaked me out because I thought she was riding that and going to come kill me, but she decides against it. I do think she was near enough 1Q from death. So unless she played it perfectly and avoided my spells, I would have killed her as well. I decide, which I'm not sure is the 100% the correct decision, to go top lane to get some free farm. The vast majority of players would exactly do, or the vast majority of good players would do what I just did. Why do I say I think it's a bit weird? I'm very much not known as a mid laner to go get side lane XP. It's very much a weakness of mine. And the moment I go top lane, it gives the enemy team the knowledge, oh, the Syndra's top lane without much health. We can go fight Dragon. Lucky thing I would say for me is the Heimer went straight there and the Belveth went straight there. So in essence, we still maintained Dragon pressure. But if they didn't go straight there, that was a free Dragon for the enemy team. But there, Belveth died for it. We have to be kind of careful of Baron right now, it has to be said. So I actually ignore blue and go, we don't have time. Let's go over to Baron. Really could do with a Heimer coming over to Baron, by the way. He's very good in terms of, like, territory fights. He puts turrets down. You have to try and walk through them. It's a nightmare. So I'm trying to scout the bush. Orianna obviously trying to do her best job of guarding. And here we go. So Darius is the only one on the Dragon Pit. They're actually not doing a crazy amount of DPS to it right now. Nautilus goes for an engage, but it wasn't the best engage, and most of our damage got blocked. I do get the Brom, but they do kill the Baron in time. I decide to go hey-ho, high silver away and just see what I can do here. I do a bunch of damage, kill the Caitlyn, but my team just wasn't about. If they came with me, like, a little bit quicker, I think we probably could have near enough aced them. And Samira goes in and just gets killed. Yeah, this Samira wasn't great. And we have Heimer split pushing. So the Heimer split push was very questionable. The fact that he decided to commit to the split push is odd. But we do kill the enemy bot lane. You could still say not amazingly worth it because 3 of us die. Well, 4 including Belveth. And only 3 of them die. And they remain with 3 people having Baron. Not ideal, but I think that could have gone better. I just needed the... And by the way, I'm just pointing out there, yeah, the Samira died and went for that big engage, and she had both summoners up. So she didn't flash to reposition, didn't exhaust to avoid extra damage. A little bit weird. So I'm on 99, by the way, pointing that out. So I'm 1 stat away from the next upgrade, which is the ultimate becomes an execute. So you'll see me probably hard focus this cannon minion. Make sure you hit that cannon minion, and there you go. We got a big ultimate up increase. And it is worth knowing, pinging yourself when you hit certain things on certain champions is worth it. So like me pinging 100 to my team, they'll be like, oh, Syndra's got her execute now. Really odd positioning from Talia here, by the way. Not sure about that one. Brom also does a big preemptive ultimate, but it does save the Talia for now. But Belveth goes for a big engage, and voila. Very nice, very nice. And Caitlyn also mucks up her positioning, and Samira gets a triple kill. Orianna, of all champions, is split pushing. Again, absolutely idiotic for an Orianna to split push. Yes, she has an auto attack passive, but she's also one of the biggest teamfight mages with one of the biggest disrupt AoE ultimates in the game. Again, I've said many times before, split pushing used to be an optional tactic. It has now become so many players' default, and they don't understand why they're even doing it themselves. This Orianna doing that is stupid. Like, there's no other way to define it. Yes, she's opened up our base, and you'd be like, oh no, she's done well, look, Huz. Sure, but if an Orianna was there, they might have won that fight. It's not an Orianna's job to split push. It never was, never gonna be. It's not what she's supposed to do. Yes, she did well, she got the inhib, but that's mainly because the Heimer also can't defend it, because this Heimer's actually kind of weak. So I'm on my way to try and see what I can do to her. She does use flash really early, and I then don't have range to get my ultimate off. I get my ultimate off in the end, but with Seraphs, I just can't. Well, Seraphs and Resoltree, this Orianna is actually really tanky. So yeah, bit silly, unfortunately, but it is League of Split Push. Like, you know, through the dawn or time of League of Legends, you know, the game's called League of Legends, but it's always had nicknames. You know, a while ago it was a League of One-Shots. I genuinely, the nickname that I would give League at the moment is 100% League of Split Push. 100%. I would say at the moment, 30% of the player base, which to me is quite a high number, are actively looking to split push every game. And that is not even just top laners. That is mid laners are looking to do it. I've even seen AD carries do it. I've seen junglers do it. So this Darius was committing to side lane, and he actually ends up killing me, which is a bit sad. But he does commit both of his summoners to do that. And I don't mind it too much. And hey, look, the enemy team's grouping, and they do well. Kind of like they're a team fight comp. But yeah, from memory as well, I think our bot lane was duo. That does ring a bell. So Caitlyn goes over aggressive here and is going to pay the Bel'Veth price. And that is going to be a big price because now Bel'Veth gets to keep going and does get 2 kills. So that, again, very greedy by Caitlyn to continue that. And that does slow down the enemy team is what exactly we needed. I'm 10 stacks away from 120, which is the big upgrade because that is the 15% increase of ability power. It is worth knowing Syndra herself. She is a proper good late game monster nowadays for 2 reasons. Well, if you're doing very well, you can be, you could say, greedy and go like death cap, nice steal. You could go death cap 2nd or 3rd item, but obviously that is very expensive to do that. Most of the time, and I'm going to try and kill the Orianna, but again, she's so tanky. And I get the kill at the end. Most of the time, you're going to get death cap like me, 3rd item, maybe 4th. I'm going to get it, I think, 4th. So yeah, my next item, I believe, would be a death cap. Roughly, you know, 3rd or 4th item, depending how well you're doing, is when you're going to hit 120 stacks of your passive and death cap. So that's a big increase of ability power. Not every single, obviously, mage does get to like the 1,000 ability power marker. Syndra does. Bad Brom ultimate in the end. So yeah, Syndra can get to 1,000 ability power by the end of the game. And she's got very powerful ratios. So that is where Syndra really, truly does shine, is mid to late game after 120 stacks of a passive and after getting death cap. If I were to go back in time this game, potentially maybe I would have not gone void and maybe I should have gone death cap. Because, you know, when you're basically working out the math behind Syndra, because especially you get the 15% from Syndra's passive on top of the, was it 30% from death cap? Void stuff's good, but in percentages, and you're increasing the actual ability power, not just magic pen, you would probably gain a lot more just by building pure ability power, and then maybe buy void stuff after. And I think I'd probably naturally do a lot more damage if I went death cap instead of void. So yeah, if anything, I think I should have done that different. Not sure who actually got that. Did the enemy team get that? No, yeah, the enemy team got that, so the Talia got the scuttle there, which does help them. Gives them constant vision as Baron has just spawned, so that does, it makes it annoying for us to try and do it because it means that they're going to have near enough vision of us. You can't sneak it or anything like that. So I am pinging to my team 116. It is worth letting people know that. So Caitlyn getting completely caught. Orianna ult does come down, does a lot of damage, but too late. The enemy team, you know, doesn't do enough. I'm looking for this Talia because she's side lane, was siding on, and I'm going to go for it. I do get the kill, and I'm completely fine trading. Why? Well, one, the game could just simply be over because we aced them. But secondly, I'm not uber fed this game. I'm strong, but if I can kill the Talia and my team can't end, well, that's their jungler. My team can go get Baron. But that is, I think, going to be the end of the game, so we do manage to win it. So by the end, I'm at 378 AP. I have transcended. I've hit the 120-odd stacks, but without death cap. So overall, not a bad game. Bit messy in places, but, you know, Syndra has that pick strength, and that is typically her strength of like, oh, I'm going to kill you, the squishy thing. Could have done that for Caitlyn, but I wasn't finding Caitlyn in a lot of fights. I found Talia. But overall, not too bad. So if you guys don't mind the POV commentaries, again, hopefully you don't. Obviously, being kind of really ill, it has really sucked. So yeah, hopefully you guys just don't mind too much if this week is a little bit weird with content. I'm going to still maintain 2 videos a day every day because I'm absolutely insane. But yeah, the account did go a bit down in rating, so we're having to get it back up. Damage-wise, though, over 30,000. You can see my bot lane does very, very little damage. And I do more damage than anybody on the enemy team. So even though the Orianna looked like she was doing well, I did overtake her eventually. And we do over 3,000 more damage than the Orianna. So that's not bad. But if you guys did enjoy, do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live to